Why are squeeze pages so important for our business?
And both a ton of your back end. Just squeeze page will allow you to create an email database. He broke down the numbers for how that's going to work as far as like instances per email per month. It's going to allow you to, it does a couple of things. So one thing is it pre-sells whatever you're trying to sell. So you can have your Facebook ads, you can have your email creator, we do rentals and such. But the squeeze page really lets you hammer out all the points that you want to touch on before they actually decide they want to go over and swipe their card. Because one thing you can do is an exit pop, or when they hit the button that, yeah, they want to buy, the pop-up happens and you can ask them for their name, email. And when they do that, they've already pretty much said yes to seeing the price. You can incentivize them by putting a % off on the opt-in. All right, so the squeeze page is going to do a few things for your business. It's going to allow you to create a back end as far as creating an email database. It's going to allow you guys to pre-sell whatever you're trying to have a customer purchase. You really want to hammer out all the points that you want to touch on why your product or service is better than anything else out there. That's what the squeeze page is going to allow you to do. Whenever someone goes to say yes, they want to purchase, or if they go to leave, you can hit them with an exit pop that's like, hey, I want to give you X% off, just putting your name and email today. And then that's going to allow you to create the database. And they've already said yes. So the whole thing is trying to get the customer to say yes. You want to get them on this trend of saying yes. So by the time they've made it to the order page, they know exactly what they're buying. They know exactly what to expect from you as the service you're providing. And then that's just going to ultimately allow you to sell more products. So you would think if you sent people straight to the order page, you would have more sales. That's not the case from what I've seen. That squeeze page really lets you hammer out what's important with whatever you're trying to sell.
How powerful has our database been for our company?
It's been huge. It allows you to create cash flow every single month. You can take that email database, send affiliate offers to it, send content. You can do rentals. So rentals are really important because that's just basically guaranteed cash flow. Whenever you have a rental, if the send goes bad, then you're not really out anything. You always try to make it right with the person that's renting your list. But versus an affiliate offer, you're taking a risk. So you have to break the email list down into smaller segments to decide what you want to send to your full list, because every email you send takes the toll, because you can only send so many emails per month. And then they charge you more money for the amount of emails that you're spending. So
why do we buy email lists?
We actually rent email lists to spread the word on our offers. It allows us to expand to other people who they're obviously opening and clicking in their emails. So those are the people that we want to have on our email list. They're warmer traffic than your Facebook or Instagram, Google. The scary thing about it is you don't know how it's going to perform until you test it.
So you want to make sure that your reactive funnel is in place. Basically, what's really important about that is you know exactly how much you can afford to pay out, and you know what your conversion is. We'll get into that with the funnelytics stuff on module 6. But knowing how much you can afford per conversion or per click, and if you know how many opens the email gets and how many clicks the email usually gets, that's how Dylan rearranges our sends. So when we're buying 30,000 to 50,000 and we've done $80,000 email sends, we know what the opens are going to be. We know how many clicks they're going to do. And so then from those clicks, we know how our funnel converts, that 5% or 4% or 3% click to order. And we just back it all the way out. If we need to come down, or if we see the price is really good, we're like, let's do some good stuff here. And then we'll keep sending that same email list every single month until the offer dies. And we have to pack another one on.
Exactly. And then the other thing you can do is, let's say the email send didn't go as well as planned. A lot of these guys want that consistent cash flow business, like what we were talking about. So you have to work with them. They may not be able to just do one free make good and send their whole list again, because they may not have the availability that month, because a lot of times people rent their list so many times. You can say, hey, how about we just do a discounted rate on the next send? And then that'll help you back out from the previous month. Even though it's not happening the same month, you're still getting to that point of break even. With your membership, you can always say, I know I'm going to make X amount of dollars over the course of 2 to 3 months with my membership, and I'm comfortable spending X amount of dollars to acquire that member, because I know that after a certain point, I'll be profitable.
Back out. Yeah. They're a buyer on your list. They increase your opens and your clicks, which allows you to charge more. You have recurring income, and it's a great list to send more your offers.
All right, there we go. I was excited. That was good stuff, right? I love that. So real quick, who enjoyed that? Who had a lot of fun watching that? Watching me go through the math? Who wants some more juice? Who is jacked up right now? I love you guys pumping in here, pumping in the comments. We are still live. We still got squeeze pages to go over. And then we're going to do live Q&A. So that's number 5, spending some time with you today. Q&A. Probably one of the biggest training modules that we have. So module number 1, we've gone over being a millionaire. We've gone over the reactive funnel, which is behind me. And you just saw the power behind a reactive funnel with Mr. Ralph. He's a close second runner up. So here's the deal. I love this stuff, right? This stuff makes a big difference in our business, and it's going to make a massive difference in your business as well. So what I want to do is I want to walk through some really nice squeeze page material, because that's the next big thing, looking at how does it all work. So that's what we're going to hit on. I want to tell you a story real quick though, before we do. When we were doing all this, how we came up with all this that's behind me, how we have what we have today, how we built our membership up, how we built our email list up, how we built our product sources up and our funnels and all this stuff, it happened because we did two things. We learned from our mistakes. And secondly, we kept building a funnel. And some cool news is from the start of this call, we've only dropped 3 people. So give you guys a big round of applause for staying on, right? We've only dropped 3 people and we have close to 50 people on this call right now. So that's amazing. Now, here's the thing. This is an important note, okay? Because we're coming for the big turnaround right here, the big 180. Is what we did when we first started. I kept building a funnel a week, a funnel a week, a funnel a week. The one thing I want you to recognize is this reactive funnel works. The principles are there, the strategy's there, the technology's there, like everything with it works. But the thing is your first funnel might not work. It might fail. It might not make you a dime, right? But what it will do is it's going to educate you. Just because one fails doesn't mean that the next one is going to be the big winner. That's what I didn't know. I never knew where our winners were. That's why we do the product first approach, market first approach. So the same thing is we're still building funnels around that. So just because you got one working, start working on the next one. And then that one's working, start working on the next one. The big thing that you want to learn is the principles behind a reactive funnel, how it works, how it all flows, why this is there, why that's there, what's working, what are the conversion numbers, what can I split test, what can I change? Start tweaking that stuff. And then as you start tweaking, you can overlay that over the other reactive funnels. So we'll do a split test on reactive funnel 1, a split test on reactive funnel 2, a split test on reactive funnel 3. We have 3 different split tests going as traffic is coming through. We're measuring and saying, okay, this one's performing here. This one's performing here. This one's doing a lot better than this one. Let's take this and duplicate it across all funnels because it's the outperforming winner. So then we'll duplicate that. Now that raises all reactive funnel cart values. Then guess what? We do it again, split test, and see where it goes. So we're always increasing our average cart value. This is all from split testing. This is all from trying this, trying that, like multi-millions of dollars in testing. It's absolutely ridiculous when you look at the spreadsheets, but that's what it took. And you guys get that for what you paid for the training. So you didn't have to go through all that crazy hard work. This is gifted to you. So take this and don't change any of it. Like it works. It's a proven model. So now I want to take you into a video I'd like to share with you of Ty Lopez and Russell, and just to show you what this reactive funnel can do for you.
Number 2 for me would be the ability to test new concepts. One of our members is actually right now the person who's processed the most money inside ClickFunnels. The guy right now is not the record. His name's Trey Lewellen. Trey he came in ClickFunnels and I met him afterwards and he's like, he was selling t-shirts at the time and he's like, these ClickFunnels, I'm going to launch a funnel every single week till one of them works. And first one he put out there, he launches it and was just like, next one he put out there, launched it and like t-shirts. Initially with t-shirts and those I had it okay. He tried a couple other things and some started some marginal success. And one thing he tried to sell in his past were these flashlights. He had a huge closet full of flashlights. One week they're like, what should we build this week? Let's build a flashlight funnel. And so they got the flashlights that took pictures of them. And his buddy, they were joking. They're like, we should call these survival flashlights because this is like a cool new thing. So they put survival flashlight and they launched the survival flashlight. It was like funnel 8 or 9 in this thing, right? Launched that flashlight funnel. And in a 2-month period of time, there's $20 million selling these survival flashlights.
2 months?
I had no idea. It's the biggest funnel I've ever seen. Blew up and went crazy.
So that was Ty Lopez and Russell Brunson talking about our account inside ClickFunnels. So there's some proof for you as well that the reactive funnel system works. This is what created that. As I go through other people's funnels that are on the comic clubs, they don't have anything like this, right? Our cash was done through products, physical products and digital products. This is the skeleton, right? Then we're going to build the guts and the meat of the funnel as we continue through the modules. So you can start to understand and see where we're going with the reactive funnels. Let's go into the squeeze pages. The biggest thing that you can do is sell through headlines. Now, I'm going to make a piece here. We have this massive squeeze page. We're going to work through the copy. I'm going to illustrate to you and show you why we write the copy the way we do. We're going to read some together, which is a lot of fun. It's kind of like story time. We tell stories when we're selling, especially if someone is unfamiliar with the product. If someone is unfamiliar with the product, we tell them a story. We sell through stories. If it's a product that doesn't need a story, then we don't use a long sales letter. So what we're going to work through is long sales letters. If it's something like a t-shirt, maybe a couple paragraphs. If it's a coffee cup, you obviously know if you just want this coffee cup or not. I don't need to demonstrate the benefits and the features. The same thing with the flashlight. If the flashlight, if you want it, you don't. I don't need to tell you all kinds of crazy things about this flashlight. Either you say it's a yes or no. Now with our oil, we have to explain it. We have to tell it through stories. Through our targets, we got to tell through stories because it's a product that they're unfamiliar with. If your product is something that is, if you could hand it to somebody and they know how to use it, put it on, do whatever and make it work, whatever it is, right? If it's a pen, they know how to use a pen. If it's a sock, they know how to put their sock on, right? If it's a tennis shoe, they know that they put the tennis shoe on. If it's unfamiliar territory, you're going to need a long sales letter. If it's familiar territory, it's going to be pretty quick and simple. Squeeze pages, the biggest thing that you can use is a headline. Those are massive. The headline, a copy blogger, if you look up the stat, it's 80% of people purchase through a headline, 20% want to read more. So you're selling 80% of your orders just through your headline. So if your headline sucks, that's why your conversions might be low. We use banners at the top of our pages, okay? If your headline is sucky, it's going to reflect in your sales and your orders. You want to make sure it's spicy. You want to make sure it's fun. We use a lot of guidelines. So in your email that we sent you or in your members area, there's a downloadable PDF. It's 600 headlines that you're able to look over those, see what fits your buckets. I think I actually have those right here in my packet. I like to choose ones that fit our category. For instance, fill in the blank headlines for enjoy the tastiest tacos in town. Okay. Deathly doorstop. This is us right here, by the way. It's deafening alarm scales intruders to death. That's funny. Number 3, you will overpay for your next car unless you read this book by an ex-car salesman. 4, tomorrow is your home safe against burglary. Take this quick survey. How to remove carpet stains in 10 minutes. Police say buy this auto theft protection, just $39. Speed picking secrets of the pros. Don't spend another second playing guitar until you read this. Those are some great headlines. Now I got out of the 600 headlines. Now what I did was I went and looked at fill in the blank headlines. So a couple I picked out was blank. The blank no one is using, or and how to without is a good headline. Everyone blank. Here's why I blank. You just fill in those blanks. Something that I use a lot is the website popurls.com that shows headlines that the top headlines that people are clicking on currently. So it's showing Reddit, The Hedge, or The Verge, Dig, Flickr, Metafilter, Longform, BuzzFeed, New York Times, Google News. So what I like to do is I like to go over here and I like to look at what headlines are people clicking on. And then how can I use that headline with my product? So let's take a look here real quick. So we got The Verge, we got Dig. Parents solve the mystery of the wandering toddler in the hallway. That's interesting. Guy wakes up a driver asleep at the wheel. How energy efficient new homes can lead to increased carbon emissions. There's no evidence that robots provide health benefits. This actually affordable electric toothbrush makes taking care of your teeth easy. So if I got this coffee mug, this actually affordable coffee mug makes drinking coffee extremely easy, right? A woman who slept in her makeup for years ended up with mascara deposits in her eyelids. Let's see. Here are some of the most iconic looks made famous. How much do you actually know about coffee? How much do you actually know about polished food? There's a thin line between scammer and success story. There's a thin line between our coffee and Starbucks. All right. So I'm just going through popular URLs. I'm just switching my words out with their words. Okay. I'm using these high clicking headlines that I just look at it every day to use and get ideas and go back to my piece of headlines. So we also give you those 600 headlines. Go through those, switch out your product with that headline. Try some out. What I did at a React to Funnel event is we had a student come in and it was Joseph. Joseph was like, oh my gosh, help me create a headline for myself. He's selling some teddy bears. And so write as many different headlines as you can. This is a great exercise for you. So you have your coffee mug. So write 10, 20 different headlines as you can. Okay. About that coffee mug. Start your day with Trey Lewellen Mastermind coffee mug. Whatever, right? Just let your brain unleash. Even if it sounds completely insane and absurd, write it out. 10 to 20. And then pick your favorite 3, use those 3, and then combine those 3. And then you got 19 others that you haven't used yet. So I use the 600 headlines is what I like to use. I'll go through those and I'll say, okay, what's working, what's not working, what makes sense. And what I'm always trying to do is beat the control. Okay. Meaning that I need to beat the split test. What a lot of people do is they'll split test at a 50-50 ratio. I recommend that you split test at an 80-20. So 80% is always the winner. And you got a little bit of 20, because as soon as you go 50-50, you automatically split your traffic in half. And that could be a totally dud. So if it's a dud, then you just split your conversions in half. Just give yourself a little wiggle room, 10 to 20%. So I like to split test at 80-20. So 80% is my control, 20% is my split test. Now, people do not buy things for what they are. They buy them for what they do. When a guy goes into Home Depot for a drill, he doesn't need a drill, right? He don't want no drill. He's got holes to get made. That's what he wants. He needs holes. So what you want to do is you want to grab your product, especially if it's an unfamiliar product, and you want to list the features. It has a rechargeable battery. So those are going to be types of features. So you have features and you have benefits. So the benefits is drills holes. Fits in small places, and it's orange, and you'll never lose it, right? I hate green drills when I'm working outside. Put the grill down in the grass, like, where'd the grill go? It's green. If it's orange, you'll always find it. Or more features, right? It's small, it's compact, it goes a long ways. So the same thing with our oil. Small, it's compact. It's a 3-in-1 oil. You can do a couple drops and it'll last you for a month. It keeps your guns clean. It prevents rust. Prevents the gun from jamming. Don't want that. So that's the thing with features and benefits. So you want to work around those and make sure your headline matches that. So you have your headline, and then you're going to start talking through your stories about the features and benefits and how you use them to tell that story. What we like, you'll see this through a lot of the stuff we do, is we do both. We have free plus shipping. So Reactive Funnel works for free plus shipping offers, premium offers, discount offers, coupon offers, all that stuff. Just because you see us doing an example of free plus shipping doesn't mean it can't work for a premium or a t-shirt. It works for all of it, or shoes or jump ropes. Same applies. The Reactive Funnel will work for you. I had a guy on a call, and I said, who's out there thinks that they have something that they cannot sell more of? Or what are you currently selling that only one person's going to buy? And I had 2 people chime in. One guy goes, a book. And I go, that is false, because I am a perfect example of that. I will go and grab multiple copies of books. I do this all the time. And I read the book, and then I'll go buy 10 of them because I want to give them out. Because I'm like, dang, that was a freaking good book. I need to share that with people. So I'll buy multiples of books. The other guy goes, I sell drones. And I said, okay. I said, I'm a great example of that too. I'll buy more than one drone. And Perry got Ryan a drone. Ryan gets the drone out in his backyard, really excited about it. $2,000 drone, and puts the blades on, and the thing goes, what? He never saw the drone again. Like, the drone was gone. Like crazy, right? So you might want more than one, because some people who buy these drones don't know how to fly them so great. So they crash them. You want an extra one. So the thing is, like, the Reactive Funnel is going to work for you. Okay. So you'll see us do things from free plus shipping to premium free shipping. The next thing on the squeeze page is you want to give them a reason to click. That's what we're doing, is we want to take them from the squeeze page, grab that click, and get them onto the next one. Most likely they're coming off of some sort of social media page, from some email, work, and they're going to be so close to that Facebook because it's easy to click the back button. But the deeper down the rabbit hole they go, the harder it is to get back to, such as Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. So if I was watching a YouTube ad, I click, boom, yes, I want to see it. And I start reading right there. It's easy for me to go both ways. I can click back to go to YouTube because it's more interesting, or I can click forward and go in deeper. So my whole goal is to get you to go deeper. That's what I'm going for. That's why I'm telling you stories like, you're going to love this. Always know this. You're selling that click. The headline sells the sub-headline, sells the copy sells the click. You're getting them to go down that rabbit hole and off into the order form. The next thing I see is, like, I'm talking to you right now. I'm talking to a wide variety of audience. Number goals, absolutely, Bradley. Hey, Bradley, real quick, just wanted to reach out to you, man. Love what you're doing. It's been amazing. 2 things just happened. 49 people just checked out because they're not Bradley. Riley just perked up. He's like, "Trey said my name. What? I'm here." So that's what you want to look at, right? You want to talk to one specific person. Always be talking specifically to one person in your copy versus an audience. There's a reason that you want to call people out. You want to call them out through text, through copy. And some of you be like, "I don't know how to do that." Very simple. You already do it on a daily basis, and I can prove it to you. Go look at an email that you've sent to a dear friend, your mom, your dad, a text message, and look at how you formulate the words. Look at how you talk to them. Look how direct you are or indirect. Look at the questions and how you phrase the questions. And look at those messages to one person versus someone that you're talking to an audience to. Maybe you send out a blast to somebody, maybe you replied to all, and look at how you type in that format to how you type to just a single person. So when you're writing your squeeze page, when you're writing your story and your letters, make sure that you're just talking directly to one person. That's the biggest tip I can give you, which is talking directly to your audience. You're not in this game alone. You're not the first person to sell what you're about to sell. There's probably other people already doing it, or they're doing it really well. There's also people buying that product. So this is when I get really deep in my audience. When we started doing the guns and ammo with Bryceland was going to be a cop. We took him out of the business. Now he's obviously works for this company. He owns half the company. I knew nothing about guns and ammo. So I had to go invest in myself to learn about guns and ammunition. I had to go and immerse myself in that space. So that's always something Bryceland did. So what I did was I said, okay, where do these people hang out? I don't look anything like these people. So I got to change my look. If you go back and look at videos of me 4 years ago, it's hilarious. I'm talking to the audience, wearing a camper hat. Bryson laughs every time. I got an orange hat on. I got some camo. I don't ever wear camo, but I'm dressing the part as the avatar, talking to them on camera. So I had to act like them. I had to look like them. I had to be them. I had to mirror them through the camera. So I went and studied them. I would go to gun trade shows. There's always a gun show going around here, right? If you're in a garden, you're going to gardening shows. If you're in the home, what are those home shows? Maybe you're in tennis niche. Maybe you're in the running niche. Maybe you're in the bicycling niche. Whatever niche it is, there's shows, there's events, there's gatherings, there's communities, there's meetups, and all this stuff is going on. There's local places that people are hanging out that are welders. We had a guy who did all welding stuff. We had a guy who did all crane stuff. It's amazing the opportunities that are out there, all the niches. But at the end of the day, we went and studied those people. So I went and studied the gun world. I went to trade shows. I went to gun shows. I have videos on my phone. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm looking for. And then the next 2 or 3 hours, I'm just in a corner watching, just keeping to myself. I'm looking at what kind of shirts are they wearing? What kind of clothes are they wearing? What kind of belt do they have on? What kind of jeans do they have on? What kind of shoes are they wearing? Are they wearing boots? Are they wearing tennis shoes? Are they wearing flip-flops? Are they wearing dress shoes? What kind of socks do they have? Do they have anything on their hat? What's their facial look like? Do they have beards? What color is their hair? What other accessories do they have on them? A knife. That's interesting. Everybody had a knife. Where's all the traffic of all the tables? Where's everybody stopping? So I'm watching for 3 hours just to get an idea of who they are, what jewelry, what clothing, what shoes, belts. And then I go from seeing to listening. I start listening. I start going to each table. And so I'm just walking through the crowd with them, pretending I'm looking at and I'm curious about what's going on. But all I'm doing is listening. What kind of words are they using? What's the common terminology between each other? How do they greet one another? How do they say hello? What are they against? What are they for? What are they fighting for? What do they believe in? What don't they believe in? What do they back? What don't they back? Okay, I'm looking for all this stuff, and I found it all at a trade show. I'm just taking notes on my phone. I have an app called Supernote. It's free. I'll just record it. And I take the phone and I set it down like that. It's upside down, so it's still recording. I go up to the table and I nonchalantly put it on the table. And I say, hey, what's going on? My name's Trey. My brother loves guns. He is into guns like nobody's business. I have no clue of anything about guns. What is your best-selling product? And then I just let them talk. Okay, our best-selling product is our taser. Why is it a taser? Let me tell you. And this is where it gets really good. When they say, let me tell you a story, or let me tell you, or they start going into a story, that's when you want to make sure your recorder is really on, because you're about to get one of the best video sales letters of all time, the scripting of it anyways. So at a trade show, lady says, taser, and I say, why a taser? Why is that your number one bestseller? And boy, did she have the best VSL ever. She goes, you don't understand, son. I'm a kind of a bigger lady, which she was. And one day I was walking out of Walmart, and you know, when you get that feeling that somebody's behind you, your hairs stick up on your neck and you get that little cold, eerie feeling. I was like, okay, tell me more. She goes, I was on my way. I had my purse on, a bag of groceries, and I got that feeling. I turned around and there was this guy following me. I yelled, hey, you better not come any closer. And I went to grab my taser and I go, and he didn't stop. And I said, listen, if you don't stop, I'm going to tase you. He kept coming after me. So I tased him and he fell to the ground. I told you I would tase you, but if you move, I will tase you in the gonads. She did say gonads. So she goes, zaps him in the gonads, and the police are on their way. The police get there. He's not moving because she's got the taser now. And the police are like, hey, ma'am, are you okay? She's like, I am totally okay, but this taser saved my life. He was about to rape me. He's about to take me home and probably cut me up into pieces. And they go, okay, but you tased him twice, right? She goes, absolutely. Why twice? When he fell down the first time, he rolled over, and I said, if you're going to move, I'd tase him twice. And so they went and reviewed the video camera's footage of this. And sure enough, the guy rolls over and she tased him. They go, okay, he did come closer to you. And they let her go. But she goes, if it wasn't for this taser, I might be dead today. I did that by going with my phone, going to a trade show. Hey, my name's Trey. Going to buy a product. What's your best selling product? Boom. Next one. What's your best selling? Because these guys, they work the trade shows. They work the venues. They work the markets. And so over time, they keep telling the same story. But what's happening is their subconscious is perfecting it. The subconscious is seeing and hearing which one is working. Like when they get a sale, they get a point. But when they get a no sale, they get a ding. Over all these split tests happening, they start to merge into one, telling the same story the same way every single time. So you're able to go up and get the best story of that product. And then you're able to use those stories against other products. So you can start building and seeing the unique factors. That's how we start telling stories. If we don't have a story like that, we'll use our best judgment, the story that I can have. So does that make sense? I'm looking at who is buying this stuff. So again, I'm going and finding these people. I'm looking for where they're spending their money and time. Are they spending them on forums? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they reading magazines? Are they getting direct mail pieces? Are they listening to the radio? By the way, a really cool trick for car dealerships is when they bring in used cars, when they bring in the cars, what they'll do is they'll go into the used car and they'll go to number one station, number two station. And that number one station, number two station is the most listened to stations. And what they'll do is look at all the used cars that they sold. They'll tally up the stations of 1 and 2 because those are the most listened to. And then they'll advertise for the used car business on those two stations. Pretty cool, right? It's the same thing here. Who's our buyer? Who's our advertiser? What are they buying, seeing, hearing? And I just go be them. And when you be them, you start to get marketed from other sellers by mail, by campaign, by email. So I'm signing up for everything. I go create an email account and I start signing up as if I'm that guy. So where are they at? I'm following them. I'm trying to build a case out of it all. And I look at everything. I'm looking at all this market research that's coming to me. And then I'm marching in that direction. I'm going with the flow because obviously all of this is working. So then I can start beating the competition. At the end of the day, for someone to buy, the value must outweigh the cost. You're creating a transition between two parties, the product or the value of the product, the book or the physical product that you're about to give them. The perceived value must outweigh the cost. That sounds pretty common sense, but that's how it works. Now, let me dip into that. Questions to get into your prospect's head. These are great questions to ask when you're on the phone with them. Because if you remember, we're collecting their phone number right here. So when we get started with a product, I'm on the phone with these people. That's the best way to learn is to get on the phone. I call them up. Hey, what's going on? This is Trey Lewellen, CEO of the MGA Buyers Club. Notice that you're looking to grab our oil and you didn't purchase it. What could I have done better for you? These are questions that I'll ask them. And you'll get more and more comfortable asking these. But questions I'll ask is, what keeps you from sleeping at night? How many of you guys have been servers in your lifetime? Like a waitress or a waiter, you've done food. If there's anything that servers know, It's people will tell you their life story within the first introduction. Hi, my name's Trey. How are you? My sister, Stacy, I just left her house. She went crazy on her husband. You're just like, I don't know who you are, but you're apparently wanting to tell me this story. So the same thing happens with these avatars. You call them up. Okay. Hey, what's going on, CEO? Hey, real quick, what keeps you up at night? Because I'm here to solve your problem. We're going to make big things happen. So that's question number one. What keeps you from sleeping at night? Ask them these questions, especially when they're coming into your Facebook groups. What's the biggest thing that keeps you from sleeping at night? Evolving around survival, prepping, around gardening, right? What keeps you from sleeping at night, dealing with your garden? Oh, yeah. They'll know. They'll have it right there. Second question, what are you afraid of? What makes you angry around gardening? What's your biggest frustration? Actually, what's your top 3 daily frustrations? What makes you angry? What makes your blood boil? What are you afraid of? Man, I'm afraid that when the neighbors come over, he'll jump on them and scratch them, and then they'll hate me. I'll tell you what makes me angry about my golden retriever is when I come home and I got one less shoe. I paid $500 for those pair of shoes, right? What's my top 3 daily frustration? It doesn't know how to sit. It doesn't know how to lay. And all it does is look at me. That's my top 3. See, the thing is, you want to ask these questions to your avatar inside their niche. They're going to tell you what they desire. That's question number 5. Are they biased? A good one for dogs is puppy mills versus rescues. That's a big issue with the dog world. Same thing with golf, same thing with guns, same thing with gardening, same thing with quilting, same thing with trucks. What do you desire? What are you biased on? What buzzwords are they using? When we first got in the business, some guy comes up, he goes, yeah, I own a 308 9mm gun. I was like, I don't know what you just said, but it sounded like code because I'm a coder. He just spit off some digits. I had no clue what it meant, right? But some of you are so close to the niche that it sounds just like normal language because it just rolls off the tongue. But if you go to a friend that knows nothing about that niche and you're starting to talk to them, watch what words you don't use. When I start talking about CPCs, what the hell does that mean? Or a TNT or a PSP or a CNT. I don't know what any of those means. Neither do I. I just made those up. See, the thing is, you got to know what buzzwords they're using, right? Especially if a coder is talking, he's going to talk in code language. You want to use those buzzwords. You want to talk to them so they know you are within that niche. It's an easy giveaway if you don't know those buzzwords. If they say something and you have that blank stare, they'll know you're not close enough for it. What is the competition selling? What have you recently purchased from XYZ companies or the competition? How did you purchase it? Did you purchase it online, through a magazine, through a newspaper, television ad, radio ad, Facebook, email? How'd you purchase it? How'd you hear about them? What made you purchase it? These are questions I'm asking them on the phones to figure out how they're going to format through my sales copy. Okay. Now, that's the sales copy. That's how I'm learning about the avatar. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to say. I want to build trust through them because they're going to say, wow, this guy talks like me, looks like me. He must be me. Like a mirror reflection, right? What you want to make it like that person feels that you're talking directly to them. So just remember that when you're writing this copy for these squeeze pages and these long sales letters, you want them to feel like the white guy on the couch eating a bag of Doritos. You want them to feel like that guy. You don't want it to feel like there's a whole audience of people in the room and you're talking to all of them. I know everybody wants to talk to you. You guys want to sell to a white net, but I'm telling you, when you directly talk to them one-on-one, they'll buy more from you because you're directly talking to them and they'll feel it, just like Bradley did on the call here because I called him out on it. The second thing is on the squeeze page. Some of you want to ask for the email address right here. That's totally fine. If you go from squeeze page to order form and don't do the 2-step, that's up to you. We grab the email. But if you're asking for the squeeze, you have to give them some sort of incentive. When you're asking for an email address, you want to make it worth $20. So whip out a $20 bill and say, for you giving me this email address, I'm going to give you this. You want the value to feel like it's $20. That's the easiest way to get somebody's email address. Okay. Or I'm going to give you a massive discount for giving me your email address. How many of you guys Googled right before you click that buy button? There's a little coupon code. So you type in Google or coupon code for this product, right? And then you're like, it never works. But sometimes it does. You're willing to give that person your email address to get the coupon code because you know you're going to get a discount. right? Same thing here. Hey, if I give you a 20% discount, don't worry about going over in Google. I'm going to give you right now. Give me your email address. I'll give you a 20% coupon code. Okay. Now let's get into the copy. You're probably going to rewatch the recording of this. So in your oil document, the reactive funnel booklet, I started using Tactical Honey about 6 months ago, and I've never gone back to the traditional oils since. Let me tell you, this is my go-to gun oil. First, the oil part of the Tactical Honey. A very small drop of Tactical Honey goes a long way. I was used to placing multiple drops on my handgun, but not anymore. Secondly, the cleaning part of the oil. Keep in mind, Tactical Honey is actually a 2-in-1 oil and cleaner. Last week, my team and I went to the local range where we brought a handful of Tactical Honey oil and the traditional oils. We then handed out one of each to each volunteer at the shooting range. Next, as a group, we cleaned our firearms first with the more traditional oil brands. Many people made side comments on how it was the oil they were used to using at home. Once everyone had finished oiling and cleaning their firearms, we then asked them to do a second cleaning with the Tactical Honey oil. What happened next was absolutely stunning. When the second cleaning commenced, many gasps, wows, ahas, and a few curse words were spread through the room. Even though the handguns had just gone through a rigorous cleaning, most everyone found left behind dirt on their gun. As a group, we came to the conclusion that Tactical Honey has now created the new industry standard, raising the bar for higher expectations, which is exactly what gun owners have been waiting for. When switching over to Tactical Honey, we saw a significant increase in the amount of dirt we were able to wipe away. I challenge you to take the same experiment and see how your home oil compares with Tactical Honey oil. Then there's a big button that says grab one for free. Be a beta tester for the oil. So it's completely transparent and congruent. What you want to notice is that I used 8 to 10 words per sentence, and the sentences never end. So it's always like period, 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 leads to the next line, period, 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 leads to that. So it's a treasure map leading them to the button, because that's the call to action. That's the click. I'm selling. You never want to have a sales letter that says we or me or I. It's always you. So pre-frame it as much as you can to be about you. Always push you in the sales letter. No we's, me's, or I's. Eliminate all limiting beliefs in their head. Think about the little gorillas that hang out in the corner that they're thinking. They're probably thinking, your oil's never, I've been using this, my internal oil for years, for decades. We actually compared it to that and it was better. So what big questions do they have that makes them not purchase? A great way to do that is to find everybody who opts in and doesn't buy and call them. That's the thing that we want to do. So the number one thing that's going to get you ahead of the competition, anybody want to know that? I'm going to give you the number one thing that's going to allow you to get ahead of your competition. The one way to get ahead of your sales copy is talking to your customers and talking to your potential customers. It is very rare. I buy a lot of trainings, and it's rare that I hear anything of that nature. No one does it. Not the big brands, not very many of the small brands. They're so concentrated on that first sale that they're unemployed until the next sale. We're taking all the sales. We're saying, thank you, Santa Claus. Woo! We're going to go over to this next piece and we're going to call and make more money out of the sandbag versus, okay, here's the bag. Oh, that was nice. We got to fill up the next bag. We got an empty bag. Bro, you got a whole closet full of bags. Go take those bags. Go make money from that stuff. Read what comes in the emails. I know a lot of us go VA route, and that's totally cool. We do too. But take a peek in there. See what your customers are saying. Every single 2 weeks at this office, we have a lunch meeting. It is mandatory. We give you free food, like mandatory free food lunch. But what we do is we have a sounding board out there. So where I used to be on the phone every single day, I'm not anymore. I got to run the inner workings of the business. But I have 10 people out there that are on the phones. They're listening, they're hearing, they're talking to our customers every single day. And so what they're doing is they're hearing repetition of the common questions, the common concerns. Okay. So every 2 weeks, we have a sounding board meeting. And what we do is we have lunch and we talk. All right. What are you guys hearing on the phones? What's our biggest issue right now? They will tell you what the biggest issue is real quick. What we found was by being on those phone calls and listening to our reps and hearing what the number one pain right now is, this is our number one. This is what we get tons of calls about. We're going to go fix that. So in the next 2 weeks, we go and fix that. Next lunch, that problem's been eliminated. So we should be good now, right? That was our number one biggest pain. We should be totally good. This should be an easy lunch. Hey guys, any big problems? We fixed that problem. Anything else? Oh yeah, we got a big problem. It's this. How'd that even, like, where'd that come from? Because I thought that was the big pain. But what's interesting is there's so much noise of this big pain that you don't even know or hear about this yet. So when you eliminate this, this one rises to the top. But what's interesting is there's so many more underneath those layers that as you progress, you're eliminating all these pains. And so you're making a better improvement to your society, to your community, one level at a time. So that's what we do. We call them, we talk to them. We have a sounding board with our internal team. If you don't have a team, it's just you, get on the phone, talk to these guys. If they buy from you, they're not going to call you and be like, don't ever call me again. Click. Okay, you might have one, but who cares? Then you got that one out of the way. Call the next guy, right? So this is going to help you with returns. This is going to help you with chargebacks. It's going to help you with refunds. This is going to tell you where your order form is confusing. We had people call in and they bought 4 and they're like, or they buy something else and they're like, I thought it came with that. It's because we had the wording wrong. So we're getting phone call after phone call like, hey, I didn't mean to order that. I don't know why you're charging me for this. So example number 1 was this really cool lamp we used. All right, we used this little lamp as a pull-up lamp and could not get the dang thing to sell. We got leads, we got opt-ins, we got names and emails, but no sales. So I get on the phone because stuff like that just irritates me to the bone. And I'm like, why are they not buying? This is like the coolest product ever. So what I do is I call them. So I get on the phone and I say, hey, real quick, saw that you were going to buy one of our lamps. What was wrong with it? Like, why didn't you buy it? It wasn't the price. He goes, what I was wondering was the size. I was like, what do you mean about the size? He goes, does it fit in your pocket? Is it like a keychain? I was like, it's not like a keychain. This is a massive lamp. And so I'm explaining to him on the phone when it like dings on me, why am I explaining? If I'm explaining this to him, then no one else understands the size of this thing. And that's when he goes, I said, if you didn't know the size, what would help you understand the size? And he replies, you should put a soda can next to it. Genius. Because all my avatars, they drink soda cans. That's what they drink. They drink cans of soda every single day. It's in the avatar book. He goes, if you could put a soda can next to it, then I would know the size. I thought it was a keychain, so I didn't know it was big. I'll take one. Okay, perfect. So we went back to the studio, took pictures, put next to a can. It started selling because now that was their biggest limiting belief. That was the biggest thing holding them back. They didn't know how big it was or how small it was. They thought it was keychain, because it's really hard to tell by a picture. Your split test, your squeeze pages, your mouse flows aren't going to show you that. What's going to tell you that is talking to your customer. I'm telling you, it's going to be talking to your customer. We're on a mastermind call, Commerce Kings call. And I got a client that's on there. We do group calls. And I love telling the story. He's on there and he goes, Trey, we did the split test. We got 2 split tests. 1, selling, just doing fantastic. Lots of sales. I did all the suggestions you told me and no sales. I don't know why it doesn't work. This one, you told us to do all these changes, no sales. Something very wrong. All right, let's take a look at it. I don't know what's wrong with it. So we get on that page. I'm like, okay, let's look at it. You got the headline, you got the border. That looks good. You got the UPS stuff, name, email, phone, our address. Where do they put the credit card at? Oh, I forgot to put the credit card. He forgot to put the credit card input forms. No wonder he wasn't making any sales. Sometimes you're so close to your funnel, you can't see that you missed to put the credit card form on the order form, right?